Hey guys, it's Dorian Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are here for the first time, then welcome to my channel where we discuss all things real estate, all things business, and all things lifestyle. So today I'm here with another real estate video where I will be discussing 5 mistakes to avoid as a new real estate agent.
Getting fucked up tonight. We gon' put the see let you see stars. Let you elevate. Let you need that.
So although real estate is a fairly easy career to break into, the problem is remaining an agent after the first few years. So statistics show, everybody knows that they say 85 to 90% of new real estate agents don't make it past their first year, let alone their second year. And this is really because of how they set themselves up for success in the beginning. A lot of agents, a lot of new agents make a lot of mistakes, not purposely, but just because they aren't prepared and they don't really know. Because a lot of people don't prepare you for becoming a real estate agent. There is no handbook on like what to do when becoming a real estate agent. You really learn as you go, as you do transactions and as you go through the process. That's really how you learn to become an agent. But you can set yourself up for success if you avoid doing certain things. So that's what this video will be about today. I will be sharing 5 things that I think are really important to avoid as a new agent, and hopefully I can help you if you are thinking about becoming an agent, or if you are still a new agent and you're looking for a way to get yourself out there. So the first mistake to avoid as a new agent is not having a plan. When you become a real estate agent, you are ultimately starting your own business. That's what it is. Even though you do work with a brokerage and everything you do is affiliated with that brokerage, you still are your own business, your own brand. And so you should definitely have a plan in place so that you know, especially if you're brand new to like entrepreneurship and things of that nature, you really should make sure that you set up a plan so that when things happen that you aren't prepared for, or that you really didn't take into consideration, you don't totally go off rail because you have this foundation, you have this plan that's really guiding you to your next step. And so with plans, of course, they should be updated as you go along. As you learn new things, you add to your plan or you remove from your plan once you see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So when thinking about a plan, there are several different types of plans I think are important to have as a new agent. So the first plan, which many people probably won't consider, I would say is a brokerage plan. And so when you think about a brokerage plan, I say a brokerage plan because at the end of the day, you decide what brokerage you're going to work for. And so it's better to have a plan and to kind of lay out your expectations for the brokerage that you're going to be working for. I think it gives you a better vision and it allows you not to be distracted, because once you pass the licensing exam, you are going to start getting a whole lot of phone calls and emails from different brokerages and different agents who want you to come and work for them, because of course you're a new agent, you're about to start making money and they want that money to be with their brokerage. So you're going to get a lot of people trying to recruit you to their brokerage, and they're going to tell you a lot of things that may sound good. And if you're not prepared, or if you don't have a plan for what you're expecting from your brokerage, or what you want to learn from your brokerage, and you know what you're expecting to gain, then you may end up at a brokerage that doesn't really fit you. And that's what a lot of new agents tend to do, is go to a brokerage based off of a name, or go to a brokerage without doing any research, without talking to anybody, or by just talking to one person. Now they've chosen this brokerage, and then maybe a couple months down the line, or even a year down the line, you realize that this brokerage does not align with you, does not align with your goals, does not align with your brand. And so it's almost like now you have to start over to build your brand again under this new brokerage. And so to avoid that, if you have a brokerage plan in place in the beginning, it's easy to kind of just like check the boxes off as you interview with brokerages for what needs they meet and what needs they don't meet, and then you can decide what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And that is the best way to pick a brokerage as a real estate agent. The second plan that any agent should have, any business person period should have, is a business plan. And I don't know, it's kind of just something that you don't really think about until you need it. And so a business plan kind of outlines what or who your business is, what your mission is, what your vision is, what your goals are, why you have started this business, and what you plan to do with this business, who your target audience is. All of these things will be established in your business plan. And so having a business plan in place will really help you to build your brand and kind of figure out who your target audience is, because starting out, you don't really know, especially as a real estate agent. You get, you know, phone calls from anybody could call you and ask you to represent them as an agent. And so it's easy to kind of get bogged down with people and just wanting to help them with whatever they need, especially when you're starting out, because a check is a check. But if you have a business plan in place, it will allow you to really figure out how you want to elevate your business, how you want your business to grow, you know, how you approach a client, how you build with the client, the type of relationship you build with the client. All of that you develop in your business plan. And so it's very, very important to really sit down and write out a business plan. I know I've started a business plan, but it's totally not developed, and that's okay. It's okay to like start a plan, because your plan is going to continue to grow as you continue to grow your business and you continue to branch off into different areas. Your business plan will constantly change, but having a base, having that foundation for, okay, this is the goal of my business, this is the aim that I have with this business, it will really allow you to make better decisions along the way, because you have this outline for where you're trying to go. It's almost like a map. Like your business plan, you could look at it as a map. It's telling you where you are, where you want to be, and how to get there. So having a business plan as a real estate agent is very, very important. The next plan that every agent should have, that most people don't think about until I think it's too late, is a social media plan. So we all know that social media is the best and the biggest and the easiest way to grow a business, because everybody's on social media. But if you don't have a plan for social media, it can really hinder your business. When you start out as a real estate agent, it's always the question of, do I turn my personal page into a business page? Do I keep my personal page and create a separate business page? Or do I get rid of my personal page altogether and just start this new business page? And so there are a couple different ways to look at it. I think if you are the type of person who just did not care about what you posted on social media in 2014, 2015, and you was just out here saying anything, I would say, number one, you probably should go back through your social media before you become a big name and just like, you know, clean up some stuff and make sure you're not out here looking crazy, because people will dig up any and everything, especially depending on how big you get and what platforms you're on. People will find out your dirt, okay? So it's best to make sure that you don't have any dirt, or that your dirt is very minimal. So I would think if you're that type of person, the first thing would be to go through your social media and really make sure that the things that you've posted in the past align with what you're trying to do today. Make sure to go through your social media pages before you make any decisions about your business. And if you don't really have a lot on your personal social media, like I don't have a lot on my personal social media, and so I did try I'm going to have a personal social media page and a business social media page, and it was a lot. It was a lot for me because I'm not really a social media person. Like I'm trying to get into it, but I'm not really a social media girl. And so trying to establish a new following on a new page is always harder than just trying to grow from the following that you may have already had on your personal page. So I stopped using my business page, my separate business page. Everything is on my personal page, and I'm just mindful of what I post. I'm mindful of like, okay, at the end of the day, I want to use social media more for my business. And so therefore I don't post a lot of personal things on my social media. And that's just me. Whatever plan or process works for you, by all means. Like I said, I'm not a social media girl. I don't have a lot of followers, maybe a couple hundred, and I can't even tell you who all those people are. So I don't go by me. I'm just a regular old girl, and you know, it's different for me. But somebody who, let's say you got like maybe 5,000 followers on your personal page, that's different. You know, you could build with that. Just making sure that if there's a certain aesthetic you want, you make that clear. If there's a certain message you want to portray, you make that clear. But to have all of that developed in the beginning will really save you time. It'll help you better develop your sphere of people. It'll even help you connect better with people if you develop a social media plan before you start being an agent or before you put yourself out there as an agent. It's definitely one of the plans that I will say is very, very important when becoming a real estate agent. So the last plan that new real estate agents should definitely take into consideration is a financial plan. Unless you have a huge following and a whole bunch of rich friends and you like the people on my favorite show, Sun and Sunset, you're not making a whole bunch of money starting out. And I think that's the big myth when it comes to real estate. People think that as soon as they get licensed, they just start making money. And that is not the case, unfortunately. I wish it was, but it's not. And so you have to have a financial plan to hold you over until you really start getting consistent income. Because the other thing is, real estate is not consistent at all. You have to set it up in order for it to become consistent. But in the beginning, you may get a transaction today and not get another transaction for 2 months. And so that's 2 months with one check. Not me, Jesus. I can't do it. It can be consistent money, and it can be a thing where maybe one check can hold you over for, you know, a month or whatever. That's, I guess, if you sell $1 million houses. But in reality, one check is not going to cut it. And so you have to make sure that you have a plan, because if not, it's going to go downhill very fast. Because like I said, there are still monthly fees that have to be paid. You have to pay for marketing. You have to pay for all types of things that I think people don't really take into consideration when they decide that they're going to become a real estate agent. Like, nobody does these things for you. You have to do everything on your own. Every sign, every business card, every flyer, every post, anything that you do pertaining to your real estate business, you have to do it on your own. And so you have to have not just a financial plan, but like I said, all of these plans should be in place in order for you to be able to have like a smooth ride into becoming a real estate agent. Because all of these things are so important, and you don't really think about it until you're in the process. Like, once you get to the point where you're like, okay, I want to start generating income from social media, but you don't have a social media plan, it's going to take you who knows how many months to develop a social media plan that actually works to generate income for you the way that you want it. So not just the financial plan, but all of these plans will really put you in a position to win as a new real estate agent. The second mistake that most first-time agents make is not having any money saved. Like I said previously, with this financial plan, there may be times where you're not getting consistent income. You don't have any money coming in at the moment. Depending on who you're working with, you may be working with somebody who's not looking to buy a house right away. I've been working with one man for 3 months, and he just decided he was going to take a trip out the country for 2 months. So now I got to wait until September to start working with him again. You know, like, real estate is so up and down, and you never really know what you're going to get. So you have to have money in place just to hold you over. Like, it's not about having money to be able to buy things or to be able to make people think that you have money. It's really about sustaining. It's really about maintaining your life. Like, unless you're starting out like straight out of high school and you're young, or like early college or something like that, and you haven't really established yourself yet, then on that hand, it's like, okay, maybe, not that bad, because you don't have a lot of bills. You may still be living at home with your parents or whatever the case may be. But somebody like me who has a house and a car and responsibilities, like, I can't miss no money. It just is what it is. We can't miss checks over here because I got bills that gotta be paid. And so as a real estate agent, if you don't have consistent income coming in and you don't have another job or something else, then you could really fall into a hole that's super hard to get out of. Really making sure that you have money saved to start your business is very important to succeed as a new real estate agent, because there are so many fees and so many costs, and you don't even pay attention to it until it's time to pay it. So it's not like you can really plan, but making sure that you have the money, the extra money, to be able to cover unexpected costs is important for if you're becoming a new real estate agent. The third mistake that a lot of new agents make is either bad marketing or no marketing. So like I mentioned, as an agent, you are a brand, you are a business, but you also are responsible for marketing yourself. You have to put yourself out there, whether it be flyers, it be an Instagram post, a Facebook post, whatever. You have to brand yourself. And so it's important to make sure that you are marketing yourself, that you are letting people know who you are and what you do. And it's important because how else would they know? This is me talking to myself, because I have a tendency to like not market myself. I have a tendency to just feel like people will get good energy from me and they will want to work with me. And it's very true. People always tell me that I give off very good energy, and I do think I'm a very good spirited person. But I'm learning that like the people that know me know that, but I don't know a whole bunch of people. So like, who, if I don't put myself out there, who's gonna know? Where is my business coming from if I don't market myself as a real estate agent? This is what I've had to tell myself, because I don't really like put myself out there. I don't really post a lot. And so I had to learn to get out of that. Like, the only way for people to know who I am as a real estate agent, the only way for people to want to work with me or to feel comfortable enough to say I want her to be my real estate agent is if I put myself out there and if I market myself and let people know what I do. I'm a real estate agent. I can help you find a house. These are the resources that I have. This is the knowledge that I have. I've learned that it's really about letting people know who you are. Like, not being pushy. I know some people that get very pushy, and I think that's kind of what turned me off from wanting to market myself. Is I didn't want people to look at me and be like, oh, here she go again trying to sell us something, like, because it's not who I am. But at the end of the day, like, I am a businesswoman. This is my business. Like, I need to develop relationships and get to know people in order to thrive in my business. And so that means marketing myself well and building my brand and letting people know who I am. It's really important for any business that you have. I know for me, I follow a lot of people. My social media is very much, I need good vibes, I need good energy, I need people who are doing the things that I want to be doing or doing the same things as me, because I want to be able to learn from the people that I'm following. And so a lot of the people that I follow are very inspirational, very encouraging, but the one person that I follow on social media that really makes me be like, I ain't going hard enough is Milano. Everybody knows Milano. If you're a Philly girl, you know Milano, point blank period. And I've started following her on Instagram, and I noticed that like every time I turned around, she was posting something, whether it be about her line, whether it be an inspirational post, a motivational post. She's always posting. She's always staying relevant. She's always keeping up with what's going on and putting herself out there. And so whenever you think about fashion or you think about wanting to buy clothing, you think about Milano because, oh, I just saw her post on my story or on my feed 2 seconds ago, and then I saw it again 5 minutes before that. So that's the first person that's coming to mind. And I'm learning that it's good to be like that as long as it's not pushy. And so I've learned how to kind of like balance it where it's not like pushy, but I'm giving y'all enough to make sure that y'all gonna remember who I am. And so that's basically what it is. You have to really figure out how to market yourself in the best way to really get people, to really generate leads and get people to want to work with you, and to have other people come reach out to you, because that's one of the other things. Like, you'll get business for yourself, but when you get business and then that business generates more business, that's how you know you're doing a good job as a real estate agent. When you've worked with a person and then once that transaction is done, that person has now referred somebody else to you and referred another person to you. That's really how you grow your business. But that comes from establishing a good relationship in the beginning with that initial person. And that's why it's important to always make sure that you're developing these relationships and establishing these relationships, because it is the biggest way to get clients, to have people supporting your business, to get people to know who you are and what your business is. And so making sure that you are not just marketing yourself, but marketing yourself well is like top tier for succeeding as a new real estate agent. So the fourth mistake that a lot of new agents make is being overly confident or not having enough confidence. So as a real estate agent, a lot of the knowledge that we have, we learn. We are self-taught, we learn as we go. And so it's easy for people to feel like you are just trying to force them to either buy or sell or rent so that you can get a commission. A lot of times commission workers get a bad rap because some people will do whatever they have to do to get that next commission check. And it's horrible to operate like that because you always end up doing something that you may not have wanted to do. But it is good to be a confident person. It is good to know what you're talking about. It is good to let people know that you know what you're talking about, but it's important, especially in real estate, to not cross that line into being overly confident, into being arrogant, into being like you know more than other people or you know better than other people. Some people will, you know, turn their nose up and get kind of funky with people depending on who you are and what you're doing and whether or not you're going to bring them a good check or what they consider to be a good check. But as an agent, we have to make our clients comfortable. We have to make sure that they trust us. We have to make sure that they believe in what we're telling them. And we have to make sure that we are operating ethically and honestly, and we're not just telling them anything to make them buy a house or to make them sell their house. And unfortunately, it has made people not really trust agents. And so some agents who come off too confident can seem to be really cocky and like people don't really want to work with you because you're too much. I feel like for me as a real estate agent, yes, I'm a licensed real estate agent. I might have a little bit more knowledge than you about buying a house or selling a house or the real estate industry in itself. But at the end of the day, I am a person. I am a regular person. And so I always go into it looking at it like, if I wouldn't do it, I'm not going to try to persuade you to do it. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing it, I'm not going to force you to do it. And I think I said this in my previous videos, is that like, I'm for my clients all the time, but I want my clients to know that I know what I'm talking about, and without it being like cocky or arrogant. I just want them to know that I am confident in who I am as a real estate agent. I'm confident in who I am as their real estate agent. And I think that's one of the best ways to like grow your business organically, because people feel vibes from other people. And so if you are leading in falsehood, if you are leading in lies, people will peep that and they will not want to work with you. So you have to make sure that you are not crossing the line of being too confident, because God forbid you end up trying to help somebody and you go into it like, oh yeah, no problem, we'll be able to sell your house for $500,000 in this market, and then you go to list a house and you know comps are at $399. Now what you telling your client? Because you done blew smoke up their ass, and now here we are, and you have to kind of backpedal and tell them how it really is. But if you led that way, if you led confidently, but then just letting them know that, you know, this is what's going on now, but realistically, this is what we can do for you, clients appreciate that much more than you just agreeing to whatever they tell you to do, or to you just making them feel like they can have whatever they want, when we know that's not really the case. So making sure to be confident and know what you're talking about and what you're doing, but not be too confident, is one of the best ways to not only succeed as a real estate agent, but to really establish and grow good business relationships with your clients. And the final mistake that new agents tend to make is not using all of their resources. So before you start out as a real estate agent, you have a group of friends, whether it be school, work, your family, people you grew up with. Like, you have this sphere of people that you are acquainted with, that you are familiar with, and it's best, I 100% recommend, when you start out, reach out to those people. Whoever you have in your contacts, use those people, because you never know who those people know. You may get a referral that's like out of this world, that can bring you a huge check from your cousin's sister's baby dad. You know, like you never know where your next client is going to come from. And even though you may know that this person that you're acquainted with just bought a house, that doesn't mean that they don't have a relative that wants to buy a house, or a coworker that wants to buy a house. Like, especially somebody like me who has a full-time job along with doing real estate. That's a whole nother business I got over here that I could cultivate people from, you know? But how will they know if I don't put myself out there? And like I said, I have a tendency to not tell people that I'm a real estate agent, and it's one of my biggest flaws as a real estate agent, is not putting myself out there. But you have to use your resources. You have to let people know this is what I'm doing. And if you can, make sure that you think of me. And it's not even a pressuring them to do it themselves. It's, oh, hey, I'm a real estate, just letting you know I made a career change. I'm a real estate agent. Here's my business card. If you have anybody that you know is thinking of buying or selling, you can have them reach out to me. That's it. No pressure to the person that you're speaking to, but it puts you in their mind for when they do have a friend or a family member who lets them know, like, oh, I'm thinking about buying a house, or I'm thinking about selling my house, and they'll say, oh, I got a friend over here who's a real estate agent. But they only know that if you tell them. So that's I would say one of the number one things is making sure that you use your resources. The only way to make money as a real estate agent is building relationships and getting to know people. I'm learning that people don't really know. They don't know where to start. They don't know what questions to ask. And so even being that resource can lead to them turning into a client. And when they think about real estate, whether it be buying a property for investment, buying a property to live, selling a home, or renting, like, my hope is that the first person that will pop into their mind, if it's in PA, is me. So that's what it's all about. And I would say your first maybe year or two of real estate is really about cultivating who you are and who you want to be as a person, as a brand, as a business, and as a real estate agent. And I think once you've developed that outline, and I keep saying that foundation because it really is the foundation for who you're going to be and whether or not you're going to succeed in your business as a real estate agent. It starts from the beginning. It starts from when you say, I want to be a real estate agent. You should start planning. You should start building your business, because like I said, nothing happens overnight. These are the things that had to be taken into consideration, and it's important to really understand and really avoid making these mistakes in the beginning. It will really save you so much time, save you so much energy, save you so much headache and so much heartache from having to start over, from wasting money. Like, you can avoid all of these things if you avoid these 5 mistakes. So that is our video for today. Y'all know me, I try to keep it as short as possible, but this was a lot of information that I tried to pack into one video. I really hope that those of you who are considering becoming a real estate agent, or those of you who are new to being a real estate agent and are maybe stuck in a place where you don't really know what to do, I hope that this video helped you. I hope that you could use these tips to better your real estate career. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you can stay up to date with all the videos that I post. I thank you for joining me today for another video, and of course, I will see you all in the next one.